Yo, Robbie, I felt pretty bad when I was banned from Topstep, but at least I wasn't accused of credit card fraud.
Dude, unreal, man. I can't believe I saw this story on X. And I'm just like, at least somebody's got receipts, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So let's get right into it, man. We're talking about Rohit Kumar, right? So, Robbie, walk us through, man. What do you know about this story?
Well, he posted here on X that he's not getting any support from responses from their supports, and he's getting banned. So what the heck's going on here? I received an email saying that all of my accounts are closed and his $25,000 payout is rejected. And so, like, I would be I'd be worse than what I am right now. I'm stuttering just like thinking about this. Imagine being in his shoes. Well, I mean, you've been in his shoes.
Yeah. Yep.
So, what's the reason, man? Like, and they say it's for credit card fraud, and they're alleging that he used hundreds of different credit cards to sign up for all these different accounts.
Dude, it's
And
it's bonkers, right?
yeah, for real, dude. Like first of all, if that was true, I feel like there's probably a system in place to maybe just check the name of the credit card that matches the person that's purchasing.
Yeah.
And then maybe if you see like more than two or three names tops, because like say, hey, maybe you're using your wife's credit card or something, just give a little bit of leeway there to use, a couple of different names like wife, maybe your mom, whatever.
Mm.
But, like, as soon as you start crossing over that threshold, I feel like there would be a suspicious flag raised pretty quickly, or at least I would think that there should be, to be like, "Okay, let's manually review this and see what the heck's actually going on."
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Like it just doesn't make any sense. So they start off with this, right? And then the best part about it is too, he puts a single text in the Top Step Discord about not getting a response from the support team. And within 15 seconds, they banned him. So like they had this dude on the radar, right? They knew instantly,
Mhm.
like, yo, there's something up here. Once they got the ban out, whatever the Discord mods knew, like, hey, we're gonna ban this guy. Right? And so they boot him from the Discord. The whole thing is wild because, he goes on to explicitly state, like in here, all these details. He's never been previously
Mhm.
banned by Top Step, which is what they first tried to tell him. And even when they gave him the
Right.
ban, right? They tried to ban him, they gave him the runaround.
Mhm.
They gave me the runaround. And then ultimately, when they moved forward with this ban, they referred back to this right here, right? This section 21. They refuse they would reserve the right to refuse to permit or terminate your access to any Topstep site at any time under their sole
Mhm.
discretion. So that's what they ultimately hit me for was like, hey, we think it's this. No, it's not that. Hey, we think it's this. No, it's not that. Hey, you know what? We're just going to section 21 you. And it's like, dude,
Yeah.
it's kind of surreal, the feeling. It's like in episode 3, execute order 66, dude. It's just like, yep, everybody's out to get you now, dude. You are public enemy number 1, you're gone. I don't care why. And
Yeah, let's see, what's the reason? Do we wanna pick one, or do we just wanna use the blanket shotgun term and
mhm,
just like, "Okay, you're banned.
mhm.
There's plenty of reasons, you figure it out."
Yeah, it's like when you've been good all day long and suddenly your dad says you're grounded because I said so. That's what this is like, right? Michael Patek
Oh,
is your
yeah.
evil stepfather right here, dude.
Yeah,
Eh,
and you know what though? It kind of reminds me of some of the funded tick stuff. Him getting banned from the Discord so quickly, because
yeah,
in some of these instances, when somebody is like raising an alarm that seems like really really bad for the prop firm, it seems like that's the go to is to ban to avoid raising like dissent or like an up an uprising in the
mhm,
community. They
mhm.
want to squash the potential rumor, right?
That's right,
But
dude.
thank thankfully, social media to the rescue, right? I mean, this guy, he's got a pretty decent following. So 12,700 followers,
Yep,
and then him tagging everybody, and then of course lots of people picking it up.
yeah.
If it wasn't for this, who knows? It could have been a small guy that it would have taken a heck of a lot longer for them to resolve this, had he not had the benefit of social media backing him up.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like, it's crazy because he does explain in great detail too that, his accounts were over $15,000 in profit, so he's requesting 5,000, which is less than half the balance. He
Yeah.
goes on to talk about he has receipts that he's only ever used one card. He's used that same card to purchase accounts over 15 to 20 plus different prop firms, which he names right here, all with taking payouts without issue. He goes through all these great details, and then like the social media following and the presence, and this post right here alone getting 395,000 views, which
Yeah.
is crazy from the compared to that one. He just got a ton of social media exposure, and Topstep comes back and says, "Hey, thank you for your patience. We did a thorough reinvestigation, and you're good to go." So,
Yeah. This is laughable to me because it's like they kind of almost threw this guy like, so first of all, like, they didn't throw him under the bus publicly, right? This was between him and Topstep, but he decided to make it public because
hmm
he's defending himself and he's trying to get his payout.
hmm
But it's like they don't even say, "Oh, by the way, sorry we accused you of credit card fraud."
yeah,
Just like, "Oh, okay. Sorry, we apologize." Like, just blanket PR post, right?
yeah, it's
And he's just like, "Thanks." So, I mean, I guess, like, cool, we're back in business, right?
yeah. I mean, this to me is like I saw all of this and I was just like, bottom step is at it again. And then,
Mhm.
it's great, right?
Yeah,
He said he'll be back, continuing to trade his accounts. And look, if this was me, I would be putting on, and I'm not trying to offer any advice to him, but if this was me and I got $15,000 in profit and you almost just try to rinse me for all this, dude, you better
yeah.
believe I need 5 more trading days based on their rules. I need 5 more trading days of $150 in profit and I can withdraw another 5K. All I'm doing is
Mhm.
getting that $150. It'll be 150, 150, 150, and I'm taking my 5K because it's my
Yeah.
money and I want to know if you're going to screw me again or not. Why should I put on any more risk or any more stress or worry about anything else other than you guys are trying to screw me over?
Yeah, no, for real, like, because like, what's the next excuse that they might potentially find? Because
Right.
now it's like, okay, this guy is in the public spotlight right now.
Yep.
We had an oopsie, so is there anything that, like, I'm playing the devil's advocate maybe on the evil prop step side, but like, what can we possibly find to get this guy out of our hair, just
Exactly.
forever?
Exactly, exactly.
So,
So, like, I wouldn't be doing any, like, max sizing. I would which should be fine when you have $10,000 in profit. I wouldn't be doing any
right.
hyper scalping. I wouldn't be doing any averaging down, DCA, average in. Like, I would just be like one singular entry. Shit, dude, with 5 micros on NQ or MNQ, it is
Mm.
easy enough to get that $150 in profit. Easy enough. That's all I'd be looking for.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna give this a
Yeah,
like.
I
I'm
wonder
glad he
how
got
many.
paid.
Oh yeah, for sure. I just wonder how close he is to going live, because isn't it 5 payouts to live?
Yeah, it is. It is 5 payouts to live, and I don't know how close he is either. But you know what, dude? Going to live is with top step. I mean bottom step has never been a good thing to do, right? You go from 5 XFAs to 1 live account, right?
Right.
And then, you know, they're going to put a whole bunch of risk parameters on you because now it's their money in the markets. They don't want you to lose it. Not to mention the fact that it's going to take over a week to set up. So you're not going to be trading with them for over a
Right.
week. The whole process sucks. Versus if you go to the Pro Plus account with TPT, which is essentially that's their version of live, you can still have the
Right.
5 accounts. Still trade as you were before, and you're not gonna have somebody
Mhm.
managing your risk, breathing over your shoulder, which I do support in a sense because you're a real that's real prop trading is you do have a risk manager. Uh,
Yeah.
However, you trust me enough to put me on live, you've already reviewed my data, like, give me a stop loss for the day and let me trade as I want.
Yeah, so did we talk about this on a previous episode? Because there was a guy that was live,
Mhm.
and he was up fat on a trade, and he didn't scale any of his position. He was in full, but
Yes.
he did have a stop loss. Did we talk
Yes.
about this?
I don't think we did. Let me see if I can, let me see if I can find that.
Okay. So I'll just talk about it quickly while you're trying to look for that up. I don't know if it was Top Step or not, but basically this guy was up huge. I was thinking it was like 3 or 5 cons. I don't remember which instrument it was, but, they decided to just outright liquidate him, and the reasoning being was, well, you're you're kind of at you have risk, and in the trader's perspective is like, well, I don't have any risk because I'm in fat profit and I have a stop loss in place
Yes.
above break even.
Yes.
But from our perspective, it's like, well, dude, why aren't you trimming? Because, dude, I think he was up like over 5,000 and he hadn't even taken a single contract off.
Yeah, I think the thing was is like when the more of the details came out about it, and I'm still looking for it, but when more of the details came out about it, he was in like 5 GC, like 5 gold contracts, like not MGC, like 5 full GC
Yeah.
contracts, had not scaled out, and he was up fat in like a very, very short period of time. So I think that it trips somebody up that like you're in one of the most volatile instruments right now and you're up fat, you haven't secured any profit. At no point are you allowed to go back to 0 today because, like, that would just be wrong, and it makes sense. Like, you
Oh, yeah.
you know, risk reward should evolve during a trade. I feel like we've talked about this before, but, like, Robbie, I can't imagine being up 5K on a trade or up 5K on the day and being like, "Yeah, going back to break even is acceptable." Like,
Yeah, no, hell no. And but the other argument was too, like, okay, why didn't they liquidate only like 4 out of 5 or whatever it was, you know? Let him have
sure,
one runner.
sure, yep,
Because I don't remember if there was a follow-up post saying like how much it may have moved, after that after the liquidation happened, but
mhm,
that would be pretty darn reasonable.
yep, it would have been. I'm still
Yeah.
looking.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's too bad. We were probably going to talk about this at some point, and then maybe something came up. And gosh, this was at least 2 months ago, I gotta say. And so probably digging through various X posts and yours and my daily chats, the thousands of
yeah.
messages that we send is actually quite difficult. So I don't know. Maybe if we find that, maybe we'll talk about it on a future episode.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good.
Yeah.
In the meantime,
Hmm.
though, we did also want to cover, this velocity logic issue, which again, bottom step strikes again here, dude. You
Yeah.
you've experienced this real time, right? And so,
Yeah. Hmm.
so walk us through this because then you have Shinobi here having an issue, another trader out here on
Okay.
X.
Yeah. So there is a thing with the CME called velocity logic.
Mhm.
And it's similar to a circuit breaker, where that if there's a sudden move, that they will like kind of halt the market for whatever instrument. But the thing is, I have never experienced this on any. I mean, okay, frankly, I've only traded eight with Ninja Trader like 99% of the time, while Rhythmic was like only a few accounts. Trade of eight through Ninja Trader. So I have way more screen time with Trade of Eight and Ninja Trader than I do with Topstep. But I have experienced this personally um, on Topstep X, and I do have at least one, maybe two screen recordings of it happening. But what happens is you'll be in a trade, and then suddenly your screen locks up,
Yep.
and then moments later you'll get that Topstep sound that says the market is now open.
Yep.
When this happened to me, I was trading NQ. And this was happening actually yesterday to me um, on silver. In fact, yesterday around 1:30 Eastern time, I think it was around 1:30. It was very near the bottom of silver. It was like before it did that sweep and then rip before it reversed going long.
Hmm.
And I observed at least a dozen instances of this velocity logic happening. So coincidentally, we have this post from Shinobi saying that he was passing two 150K combines. They were both up, and he needed to pass. And he tried to set an order, and it wouldn't let him. And he tried
Okay.
spam close, and he was up 6K, and it still wouldn't let him. And then they failed him, and he was trading silver.
Mm.
So yeah, so then fast forward to the next post.
Yeah.
They send him this email saying, "Oh, what's velocity logic?" And it's the circuit breaker bit that I basically just explained. But how is it that this is not affecting people on other platforms. Like, I don't understand. Like, in one on one hand, I could say, okay, silver was absolutely disgusting yesterday. Like, this is
Yeah.
the biggest move in history. I think even worse than in the 70s and 80s.
Yes, it was. It's the
Um,
historically the biggest singular drop ever.
so that's like one instance you could say, okay, well, it should have happened on this day. But you know what actually really should have happened, Joe, is an actual gosh darn circuit breaker. Because what was it down on the day? It was like 30%.
Yeah.
Or am I pulling that out of my ass?
No, no, it dropped like 30% for the day. Yeah.
Yeah, and a circuit breaker is supposed to happen. I thought around 6%.
Yeah, and I think
So
yeah, the CME is
so
because I know it's
so
different.
correct us if we're wrong, right?
Yeah.
But like, so this kind of pisses me off, and I'll just go into a little quick tangent on this because like silver has been going through the moon, gold and silver has been going through the moon,
Yep.
and there's all these paper contracts shorting silver, and isn't it awfully convenient that silver is just ripping, and then finally it comes down to make some type of correction, but rather than the normal rules applying,
Mhm.
with a circuit breaker and then
Mhm.
pausing the market,
Mhm.
they just let it dump because who's to
Mm.
benefit?
Oh, bro. You
Yeah.
know who's
So
the
and
benefit.
tangent on that,
Well,
but
no, no, no. I think just to build on that tangent, just a little bit before we jump off that is there's been a ton of talk too about like major banks and or the top guys on Wall
Mhm.
Street holding these epically big short positions that they've just been loading and loading and loading, and it's like yeah,
Yeah.
they're not gonna let a big dude get margin called. They're gonna let that sucker ramp up, and when everybody and their brother on Facebook and all these TikToks is talking about buy silver, buy gold, yada yada yada, and then you got people like shout out to I think his name is like Stoic Trades or one of the Stoic trader type names out there. He was literally been talking about for days how he could not move, he could not liquidate his physical silver, that he was getting quotes at like 30% below the spot price. Okay, like it was crazy. And then
Mhm.
all of a sudden you get this massive capitulation and it's like, yo, you ain't gonna move that silver now, buddy. No
Yeah.
way. You are
And
screwed.
just to frame things, the silver like the future silver futures SI was at a high of what was it? 121
Yeah.
six ish, okay?
Mm,
And then we closed the day at 78, but hit a low of $74.
mm.
This is just epic, man. This is a multi-trillion dollar wipeout in the
Oh, dude.
course of 2 days. But
Oh, yeah.
obviously, the lion's share was yesterday.
Oh, yeah, bro. Oh, yeah. Dude, and
Absolutely
silver wasn't
disgusting.
the only one because palladium fell, platinum fell, gold fell, silver fell,
Gold
right?
fell.
Like, they were
Right,
literally
right.
those literally like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse right there if you were long on any of those precious metals.
Probably copper too if I had yeah, like yeah,
Yeah.
they all tanked.
They
Mhm.
all did, right? And even Bitcoin was falling yesterday. It's crazy. A lot of things fell. While the overall market, the S&P and the Nasdaq were relatively flat on the day. Nothing major after a big down day on
Right.
Thursday. So kind of wild to see. Um, but like this BS with bottom step, dude. It happens again, and then even Minx chimed in on it, and
Mhm.
and they put her in timeout. They literally timed her out in the
Right.
Discord, bro. Like,
Yeah, I don't know what else to say, man. Like it's just really disappointing. Um, I could have sworn that I emailed Ninja Trader about this situation one time, asking them, "Hey, like what's going on with this? Like, I'm experiencing this with Topstep." I could have sworn I did, but I couldn't find the email. But I in my head, I felt like I had done that because I wanted to say, "Okay, is this like really legit?" And so I did find the actual message, or not message, but like the article on the CME website.
yeah.
I feel like I got that from Ninja Trader, but my guess is that I might have deleted the email because I just did a massive email purge over the past couple of months. Like I think I deleted like 20,000 emails,
Holy shit.
and well, dude, I've been a Gmail user like since day one. Well, actually, since earlier than the day one because I was in beta, and I mean the promise was unlimited email. And you never delete your email, so everything just goes to archive. But finally, I decided to go through a purge. But
And look at him. Look at this dude. So when did you purge? Like a week ago?
no, no, this was probably about a month ago that I
All right.
started doing the
So
purge.
you kept emails for like 2 decades, and all of a sudden 1 month after the purge, you're like, "Bro, I
Yeah,
wish I had this email."
I wish I had the receipts. Yeah, exactly.
Lesson learned here, folks. Never purge, hoard it all.
Heard it all. Yeah,
I you know,
yeah.
I love this comment to Minx right here, dude. I love this. So you can improve your English. Oh my god, dude. That was classic.
Oh, for real, dude. Yeah.
Eh,
That's when you know that somebody has lost a battle is when they're making like random personal attacks rather than a
Oh yeah.
substantive like
Oh yeah.
about this, XYZ.
Oh yeah, for sure. And look, to wrap this up, man, I actually did find that post from so prop firm squad news or whatever. They shared it.
Oh, okay.
Um
Oh, and it was Top Step. Okay.
it was Top Step, dude. So
Okay.
this was flex trades right here.
Hmm.
Um so he was up, so he says I'm up 5 Gs on the day. He was in 4 contracts of GC with 0 risk as his stop
Yep.
loss was break even, and they're forcing to trail his stop loss at 3K because they want it, right? So like then you get into the more of the details here, right? Where I understand the one point of how the trader feels. However, at the other
Yeah.
side of it, when you work for a prop firm, like when you're actually
Yep.
working at a prop firm, right? Because when you start and you sign up with with Topstep or these other things, they're not prop firms. It's a funding company, and you are pursuing
Yep.
funding. You are being evaluated to be funded by a prop firm. So now you're on the prop firm side of things. You are crossing over, and
Yeah.
a prop firm is going to be like, "Hey, whoa, whoa, whoa! You can't just let this go red. You can't just let this go zero. Your job is to lock in profits because a percentage of it is ours. You work for us. That's what
And
you've
it's real
signed up
freaking
for.
money on the line.
It's real money on the line, okay?
Yeah. Hmm.
So so he was already up. Like, I guess he's saying he's they wanted to manage the downside risk because he's already at $8,000 in profit, which is a great day for his account. And he's sitting at
Oh yeah.
greater than a 100% gain. So he had
Hmm.
secured 8 grand in profit. And then
Oh right.
he was up
Hmm.
another 5. So he
Yeah.
started the day out with $10,000, went super aggressive, and was up
Hmm.
13 grand total on the day. Oh, he's up,
Yeah.
sorry, he's
When
up.
was this, by the way, Joe?
This
The date.
was, let's see. This was posted on January 7th.
Oh, okay. So it was a little more recent than I thought, but that's yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah. So he's
Good
if
for
he,
this freaking guy.
and even yeah, and even Patek says like we are a prop firm helping our prop traders trading our prop capital. Been doing this 15 years. Like I actually think I need to side with Top Step here on this one because your job as a trader is to secure the bag. When you're up 5 Gs and you're not saying anything about your profit target and you're only saying, "Well, my risk is 0 on this trade." That's not responsible. It's not.
Right. Yeah, no, like I do agree. I just like the only side would be like I said earlier, just maybe trim 90% of the position or whatever it was, just to let him have one and then say, "Hey, look, you got to bump up your stop to like, I don't know, 50% of whatever it is on the last remaining contract or something like that."
Yeah.
I think that would have been reasonable.
That's, well, this is what they did. So
Mhm.
what he's complaining about is they're forcing him to trail his stop loss at 3K. So he's up
Oh, I
5K.
guess I don't remember that part. I was
Yeah.
thinking that it was a forced liquidation. My bad.
Nah. So like they're
Okay.
forcing him to trail his stop at 3K when you're up 5K. Like, dude, trim.
Yeah. Hmm.
Trim down from 4 to 1 and that's it, dude. Like you will have
Yeah.
locked
Easy
in
peasy.
$3,700 in profit, which is what they want. You can keep the stop at break even if you want because you've
Yeah.
locked in 3,700 on the trade. Like I I think this is ridiculous. Like I think this dude thought he was going to go to social media and have everybody be like, "Oh, Top Step, F them." But it's like, dude, you were really Tyler, I think is his name. Tyler, you're being quite irresponsible here. You've doubled your account in a day, which is amazing.
Right. Hmm.
Lock it in, bro.
Yeah, no, no, for real. Yeah, like I'm 99% on Top Step side in this situation for sure.
Yeah,
Um, so love to hate them. They've done some good things in the past. To just I don't know, man. The platform stability is still a really big issue with me, and this
yeah,
velocity logic stuff. Like,
100%.
um, yeah, I don't understand it because, like I said, I'm on NinjaTrader with TraderBait all the time, and I've never experienced this with this. And I've traded NQ during extreme volatility,
Yeah.
like we're in the Trump era, bro.
Oh, yeah.
So like earlier in the year, we were getting these massive swings where it felt like you can get 100 points on almost every stinking candle. Um, I never experienced this, so like
No.
I don't get it. But that's one reason why I still prefer Trade and
And Ninja Trader.
especially with NinjaTrader.
Yeah.
And that's why I like these prop firms like Lucid and Trade Day and My Fun of Futures and Take Profit Trader. There's other good ones too. For all the hate it's got, Apex,
Yeah.
20 accounts. I don't advocate for new people to try to go ham and gamble and doing that stuff to the past because if you don't have an actual strategy, then that's not going to set you up for success when you do pay all those fees to activate. That's actually probably what they would want without admitting it.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you, dude. I've got thousands of hours logged in front of NinjaTrader in some of the most volatile market conditions too, and never once have I heard, the market is now open or, seen anything crazy or just seen it stop working. You know, no, 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 it just
Yeah.
doesn't check out. And, it lines up with what everybody was concerned about, many months ago now when Topstep got rid of the additional platforms and wanted everybody to be on Project X. So
Yeah. Mhm.
I think that the firms that went away from Project X did their customers a great service, and it's really good to have options and not be isolated to one platform that's this buggy. Because when I don't want to say are counting on the market to make money because that's kind of foolish. You can't always count on the market to make money, but when you are expecting or you're planning to trade and make money, it's kind of unfortunate when it plays out this way.
Yeah, but sh- call out to anybody. Like if you've actually experienced Velocity Logic on another platform, I'd really love to hear about it. And if you have like receipts, please tell me. I want to know what day that was, and maybe like I go back on my recordings. I still have about a year's worth of daily recordings. Um, and I'd just kind of love to go back and see if I noticed any anomaly. But like I've never seen it.
Oh yeah. Oh
I,
yeah.
I and all I've never seen it on Thinkorswim either.
No, no.
Yeah.
Never
So
seen it on Thinkorswim.
I don't know, man. That's who it was. I think I actually messaged Thinkorswim, not NinjaTrader.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's still gone, dude.
Yeah, it's still yeah, cuz yeah. Oh well.
Maybe you can message them again this week and see if you get a response about it because it would be a great little thing to follow up on. So,
Yeah, for sure.
all right. Well,
All right, sounds good.
that's a wrap
See
for
you guys
us,
in the next one.
folks. See you later.